All right, FightHype.com here with, I believe, one of the best female fighters in all of boxing, Seniesa Estrada, undefeated, finally getting that world title shot at Anabel Ortiz for the WBA minimum weight title on the undercard of Virgil Ortiz fighting Maurice Hooker. First of all, coming off the fastest KO in women's boxing history, how does it feel to be finally getting that title shot you've probably been working for, for many years now?
Yeah, it feels great. I'm excited about this fight. I'm excited to have my first world title fight, and I feel like it's just perfect timing to have this fight, perfect platform, perfect time in women's boxing. So yeah, everything's just falling into place.
It's not the easiest of assignments to challenge for your first world title. Anabel Ortiz, she hasn't lost a fight in almost 10 years. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, she's a great champion. She hasn't lost the title, like you said, for about 10 years, and has defended it about 12 or 13 times, I believe. But I know that she has never faced anyone like me. And my dad always told me when I was a little girl, before every fight, he would say, they may have been in the ring before, but they've never been in the ring with you. And I totally understand. I understand what he meant by that now. As a kid, I didn't really understand. I was like, what do you mean? But now, I totally understand what he means, and I think that's going to be a huge factor in the fight with Anabel Ortiz.
When you say that, it's interesting. What do you think is different about you than most fighters or everyone else in the ring?
I think that my style is so versatile, and there's so many things I can do, so many different ways I can fight. Like I know I've seen Anabel fight where she comes forward, where she tries to back up and tries to box. I know the different ways that she has tried to fight, so I'm preparing for any style or anything she tries to do in the fight. And I know I'm preparing for how to stop and how to defend and how to counter every punch that she throws. Just everything from just everything that she does. I've studied it, and I've been working on so many different things in order to make this fight as clean and easy as possible for me.
And in your last 8 fights, they've all been stoppages or knockouts. I think there's a technical decision in there, but I believe that fighter really retired on her stool.
Thank you. Yes, I agree.
Do you feel like this is going to be a 9th straight knockout on your record?
I go into every fight preparing for it to go to the distance, and I don't think about it being a knockout. Just like all of those fights that were stoppages and knockouts, I prepared and went into the fight thinking that it was going to go the distance. That's just what I do. That's how my team prepares me to think. But I will say that I've been feeling the strongest this training camp, and the strongest I've ever felt in sparring. And I feel like I just hit a certain point and certain peak in my career where I feel so comfortable and so strong and physically just different than I felt in preparation for any other fight.
Do you want to show in this fight that you cannot just be a world champion, but one of the faces of women's boxing, along with a Clarissa Shields and a Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this fight is definitely the start of the start of big things in my career, as far as just the recognition, the platform, and people starting to really know who I am, and really starting to see the skill set that I do have. And then it all just starts with my promoter, Golden Way Promotions, just being behind me and just pushing me to get these opportunities to fight on these big cards and to headline or to co-main event or to make sure that I'm televised. Like, all that comes with it, because if it wasn't for that, there's so many women out there who just aren't seen and nobody knows who they are. So we need to have, our promoters need to do this. They need to just push me to be on the highest platform that I possibly can, so that people know who I am.
Talking about your promoter, who of course is Oscar De La Hoya, coming from East LA, you just had to sign with Oscar De La Hoya, right? I mean,
yeah. Like I was saying in my previous interviews, like it's definitely a dream come true. And like even before I started boxing when I was 8 years old. And when I was like 6, 7 years old, I said to myself that I was one day going to sign with Golden Boy Promotions. Like I just knew it. And I knew, like, at the time I was only a little girl, and I knew that they didn't have any women sign. I knew that women's boxing was like not even on TV, or was something that wasn't even heard of.
Besides Ali's daughter. She was the only one.
Yeah, besides Layla Ali, Christy
Yeah.
Martin, Lucia Riker, and Wolf. Like I knew about those women, but coming up as an amateur, like there was a whole decade where women's boxing was just completely unheard of and dead. So yeah, it's just crazy how like at such a young age, like I knew that I was one day going to sign with Golden Boy Promotions. So actually it becoming reality is definitely amazing.
Speaking of East LA, and Oscar, and we had Canelo fight over the weekend, and he's so great for Mexican boxing, obviously boxing in general, but we've yet to have the female equivalent of a face of Mexican boxing. Do you aspire to that at all, or think about that?
Yeah, I definitely think about that. And I think, that's something that I want to definitely become, is just the face of women's boxing, for not only for all women, but for, all Latinas and Mexican Americans. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal for somebody who comes from where I come from to see me doing all these great things, and to have somebody that inspires them like that. Not only for Mexican Americans, but for just all women in general, and all girls in general.
What did you think of Canelo's fight over the weekend?
Oh, I went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Yeah, I knew this guy was no match for him. And no matter what weight class Canelo fights at, he's just at a point of his career where he just is such a
peaking, like we were talking about to start the interview, just at peaking, right?
Yeah, exactly, that peaking. Right. And I feel like no matter who he fights, he's just gonna every fight he's just becoming better and better, and no matter who he fights, he's not gonna lose. I just don't see him losing.
As a boxing fan, Seniesa, and someone who loves watching Canelo fight, what's the best fight out there for him? If they said, Seniesa, Canelo's gonna fight whoever you want him to fight next, who would it be?
I think him fighting maybe like one of the Charlos would be a good fight. But yeah, even that, I just don't see him losing.
No Benavidez? No.
Benavidez, that would be a really good fight as well. I think Benavidez is a really good, talented fighter. But Canelo is just a different fighter, different everything.
This is what I keep hearing from most fighters, that he's just on a different plane at this stage right now.
It's on a different planet. Yeah.
So do you think he'll have an easy time with Saunders, and after that Caleb Plant, or is one of those guys more than the other going to give him a tough time?
No, I don't think so. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I see him. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. Maybe he'll go the distance with one of them, or end it in the late rounds. But either way, it's not going to be a fight where Canelo is going to get beat up in any way.
I thank you. But also, it's your first world title fight, but I can't help but look ahead, because this is for the minimum weight title, and you're ranked #1 in the world for the WBC light flyweight title against Yesenia Gomez.
Right.
Would you be willing to go down to Mexico to fight her if she didn't want to come stateside, or what's your thoughts on that fight?
No, we're not going to Mexico to fight her. Something that was decided not only by myself, but by Golden Boy Promotions, because we want the fight to happen here. It would be bigger here, and with the whole politics in Mexico, there's no way we're going to Mexico. And of course, with me being like the bigger name, even though she's a champion, like if the money's right, she will come here. We've been trying to make that fight happen. We've been trying to make it happen for like the past like year and a half, but her and her promoter just continue to say no and continue to keep pushing the fight back because they want to really, they just want to hold the title for as long as they can. And I think that's something that the organization really needs to take control of and make these mandatory fights happen. And I'm just glad that Anabel Ortiz was willing to step up and accept the fight, because we've also contacted other champions at 105 pounds and 108 pounds who just would not accept the fight.
Are you going to campaign at 105 or 108, ultimately?
Both. Even if like next fight I have to fight at 108 for a world title, that's fine. So 105 and 108, I'm comfortable at both weight classes. But moving forward, I would just continue to fight world champions at either 105 or 108 pounds. Best
opponent possible, regardless. Yeah, got it. Clarissa Shields, the GWO, is fighting this weekend, going for that third or second division, being undisputed champ. Might even be third, but I know she has 10 titles and 2 gold medals. Do you want to be undisputed the same way she's been able to do it at middleweight and 154? Is that a goal of yours, to be undisputed?
Yeah, definitely a goal to be undisputed. So yeah, that's why moving forward, I would like to fight another champion at 105 pounds or 108 pounds and continue to move towards being undisputed at both those weight classes.
Thoughts on her fight this Saturday against Marie Dicaire?
I don't really know much about her opponent, but I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to be watching it for sure to support Clarissa. So yeah.
Every fighter thinks they're the best. So outside of yourself, Seniesa, do you see Clarissa as the GWO? She's the best that you've seen?
I mean, as far as her accomplishments, I mean, I don't know. I think like everything she's accomplished is amazing. She's great. I love Clarissa, but hey, if she wants to call herself the GWO, then let her call herself the GWO. Like, everybody, I know people get upset about that, but if she thinks she is, then that's great. I love to see her confidence and everything that she does for women's boxing to try to push it forward.
And also, last one before I let you go, I just want to pick your brain a little bit more. Ramirez, Taylor, do you favor either guy? I know you're from Cali. Cut out the Cali a little bit and just you see calling it down the middle. Who wins that fight?
Oh man, that's going to be a really good fight. I'm excited to watch that one. I think if Taylor can box and move, and he can definitely get the win. But I will be cheering for Ramirez to win that fight, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good.
It sounds like you don't think Taylor should stay in there toe to toe.
I don't think so, no. I think that's kind of what Ramirez wants.
So thanks so much, Seniesa. Is there anything else before I let you go, before we head into March 20th, where you'll be facing Anabel Ortiz for the WBA Championship of the World? Is there anything else you want to let all your fans and boxing fans know?
Just don't forget to tune in. March 20th is going to be a great night of action-packed fights, not only myself, but Virgil Ortiz. So thank you guys for all of the support, and thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Seniesa.
Thank you.
Have a good one.